This is a Glendale Library Arts and Culture program, created for teens, edited and hosted by the Teen Library staff. Check out community service opportunities and teen events down in the description box.
Hi everyone, it's Melissa.
And Desiree.
Welcome to the guest episode of Teen Gen Talks.
Today's guest was born in Orlando, Florida, where even as a kid, he was on the fast track to a career in the games industry. After a few years in the industry, his passion for fighting games led him to Hidden Variable Studios, a mobile game studio in Los Angeles, California. Drawing from previous experience, Andrew helped usher Skullgirls out for development and into the fray as a live product, helping it grow to become a unique entry into the mobile fighting game space. He is currently the lead engineer on Skullgirls Mobile.
Grab a snack and drink, and let's welcome Andrew Dos Santos to Teen Gen Talks. Thank you, Andrew, for taking the time out of your day to talk with us. We have a lot to discuss.
Hey, no problem.
So to start off, I want to ask if you remember the first time you fell in love with the game industry and just games in general.
Oh boy. When I fell in love with games, I was probably about 3 years old. My dad got an original Nintendo Entertainment System, way back in the day, and he got it as a gift from a coworker, and he taught my brother and I how to play Super Mario Brothers 3. It was the first game I ever learned how to play, and I was just absolutely enamored with video games from that point on. My dad showed us how to play it and then couldn't keep up with us afterwards. But like from that point on, it was, I was totally into games. I loved playing them. And it wasn't until really, getting into, growing up and, as a teenager in high school, it was kind of like, I guess I could actually like make them. Like, that's the thing I could do. My brother was also, hey, why don't you do that? That would be cool. And so that was something I really started all the way back in high school. Started along that path of like figuring out what would I need to do in order to get myself to a position where I'd be able to make video games for a living. So yeah, it's been a lifelong endeavor.
During the time of playing all those games, what did you find that made all these games so appealing?
There was just kind of something about it. It was kind of this really just something that you could transport. Everything was just so different. You could really transport yourself into these just vivid game worlds. You could really see yourself as this character. You can explore all these different games and the varying kinds of genres that you can be playing a fighting game with one friend. You could be playing a solo adventure with another. Have a racing game with with another friend. You could either be playing it in your living room or the internet as games evolved. It was just so fascinating, the kinds of stories that you could tell, the kinds of artwork, and just it's incredible like what the industry as a whole has been able to do. And it was so amazing to just kind of be a part of that. And it was kind of also being part of the culture, just like, whoa, did you play that game? That was amazing. Like, what did you think of that? It's just like, so being part of that was really quite something.
And how have you seen the game industry change throughout, the years?
Well, I think definitely as the games industry has evolved, depending on the kind of sector that you're sort of looking at, you see in the indie game space where we're seeing a lot more people being comfortable with telling different stories of different backgrounds, more diversity in games. There's been a really big push for diversity in games, which has been amazing. So it's not all kind of one type of person making games and game studios and in the STEM fields and things like that. So we are seeing a lot more of that. We're seeing an amazing amount of accessibility. I mean, the amount of games that you can play on a phone, where 20 years ago, it's like, what?
Yeah.
Phone? It's incredible. It was, you had to sit down and dedicate like a lot of time. You're like, all right, let me plug in all this in, change it to channel 3, and that whole thing way back in the day. But just like it was something you really had to sit down and get involved with. But nowadays, like we're seeing all kinds of people being able to play games that probably never would have in the past. And I think it's been really great to see people have those outlets and like being able to enjoy that. And, we've seen people connect with family over social games, and it's really quite something.
You were Variable Studios. Can you talk a little bit more about what the company is?
Yeah, so Hidden Variable Studios, we are a little game shop in Glendale. We're out in Atwater Village, though I guess more remote nowadays. But we were founded almost 10 years ago now, and really, like, our first game was a game called Bag It, and it really started with this sort of the idea of like what's the sort of like little tiny golden gear that makes everything work, the little hidden variable that like really makes games special, and what can we do to bring that into our games, the games that we make. And with in the case of Bag It, like taking something that's like an everyday activity, bagging your groceries, and then making it a really interesting twist. And like it's a really fun little puzzle game. If you haven't checked it out, definitely I'd say check it out. And just kind of bringing a little bit of life to that, so that next time you go to the grocery store, like, hey, I know that. Like, okay, wait, I should put the milk on top of my eggs. That's right. Okay, don't crush the eggs. And just kind of like bring that sort of extra little spark to games, and as the company's evolved, we're trying to build sort of like an oasis for players to come, that when they come and play our games, they may not stay forever. Obviously their tastes are gonna change, but when they look back on their time playing our games, we want that to be a positive experience. We want it to really be like a breath of fresh air when compared to all the other games in the industry.
And how did you find Hidden Variables and Studios, and how did you know that was the company that you wanted to work with?
So I joined Hidden Variable a little bit over 5 years ago. I was working at Zynga up in the Bay Area at the time, and a friend of mine had joined. It actually is quite an interesting story. So a friend of mine had joined the company, and he was like, "Oh man, you got to come down. You got to come check this out." And I'm like, "I don't know. I don't want to move all the way from San Francisco to LA." And he's like, "You really got to check this out." And I started looking at what they were working on, and this is when I found about Skullgirls Mobile, which is the game that I work on. The opportunity to like bring fighting game to mobile, make that accessible to people, and is like really a great mobile fighting game. And I was like, okay, well, that's a really interesting opportunity to work on. And then the co-founder of the company, his wife, I used to work with at Zynga. So sort of this like little random sort of thing. And then to take it even one step further back, in college, I had some downtime. I was looking for free games on the App Store, and I was just browsing. And what game do I happen to play? Bag It.
Oh.
I had no idea. Kind of all came full circle. It's like, okay, this is where I got to go.
Right.
And and I'd met Charlie, the co-founder. I'd met him a couple times after spending some time with my coworker. Like, this guy's awesome. Like, I definitely I would love to work with this guy. And then I had the opportunity to, and I flew down to LA, met some of the team, and they were just an amazing group of people, and it's been wonderful working with them.
You were part of the developing team for Hidden Variable Studios on their mobile fighting RPG Skullgirls. What was that experience like?
Yeah, so it's been quite the adventure. Skullgirls Mobile was really and is really an ever evolving project. We actually just released this massive update on Monday, that brand new character never before seen to the IP onto mobile, and it was just kind of like this. Wow, like we're doing things and bringing life into the IP of Skullgirls, and like continuing that legacy. A game that launched maybe 7 or 8 years ago originally on consoles, and it was really bringing something more complex fighting game and making it accessible yet still true. So you kind of have that experience on mobile, and just being able to be a part of that, and because I'm a big fighting game fan myself, and I was like, yeah, this is awesome, and like being able to build all of the infrastructure from the ground up, going from, all right, we're just kind of developing this game in-house and we're still working on it, now let's go to soft launch, now let's go to hard launch, let's partner with these people, and then there's all sorts of things that have happened in Skullgirls history, some good, some not so good. There's a great GDC talk that Charlie gives on the great database debacle of 2017. It was quite the harrowing tale, where we almost lost like all of our user data. So
Oh my god,
it was a tough time. But no, being on Skullgirls has been just a really rewarding experience. I've learned an incredible amount. As I joined the company, like I'm now the lead engineer of Skullgirls Mobile, and it's been wonderful working on this project and seeing it go from its nascency. I joined maybe after a year into development, and really seeing it come into its own, like being a fully featured mobile game that we're operating and still adding to and still putting more stuff in, and people love the game, and it's been really rewarding.
You mentioned how there has been ups and downs when creating or developing a game. How do you find inspiration to continue to, develop this project and not give up?
Yeah, I mean, there was certainly a time where we were all very scared, certainly in the what happened with our databases, but we knew that we had something special, and like nobody wanted to give up. There were plenty of people, I mean, tens of thousands of people who were just like, this game is amazing. You look at the ratings on the app stores, and just like there's so many people who are just so passionate about this game, this IP. I mean, even the original console game, people fly all over the country, all over the world to go to different tournaments, and like people just like absolutely love this game, and the people at the company are just so passionate about it, and they really care about it. And so, and it was really through that adversity we actually came together, because it was like, all right, something really, really, really went down. Let's all band together. The entire company basically became customer service people for like 2 months, trying to reconnect everyone's accounts and get everything back. It was really quite the experience. And I think something like that actually like really brought us together. It really strengthened a lot of those relationships and kind of pushed us to do better and reevaluate, okay, well, what happened? What can we do better? How can we prevent this in the future? With games and adversity, it really is, it's not you failed. You found a way that didn't work. You found something that there's something to be learned from. If the database crashed because, XYZ happened, okay, how did that happen? Why did that happen? How can we prevent that in the future? And having those experiences, those talks internally, can really help the team grow.
For a teen or anyone that wants to become a game developer, what are some tips for them?
For anyone who wants to become a game developer, the number one tip is just do it. Just do it. There's no one that's going to stop you. If you really want to do it, you're going to be able to. Find out what you need to learn if you want to be in the art, if you want to be music, if you want to be a programmer, if you want to do everything top to bottom, no one's going to stop. Take the time, take the effort, work on those side projects, because the amount of games out there that have, reached critical success is just like, maybe it was some guy who's just been working on this game for 3 years in his spare time, and like, wow, look at this. If the, Among Us is the new, hot thing right now, and it was developed by 3 people. So it really is, it puts it into perspective that like everybody has their own stories to tell, their own ways of thinking about things. If you really want to make it happen, you absolutely can. Study, learn what you need to learn, look into those different, backgrounds or things, and you will find it in. It can be difficult, but even if you didn't start out with the right background, you don't have to be like, I studied computer science in a 4-year degree and I did this and like now I'm a programmer. I mean, one of our engineers, we picked him up from the community for Skullgirls. He started out as customer service, had a passion for engineering, started learning it in his free time, went to school. Now he's one of our engineers. People who have art degrees, they'll start in QA, and then all of a sudden they're in design, or maybe they have that passion for engineering. But the point is that there's so many different paths to game development, and it kind of really depends on what you want to do. But there absolutely is a path for everybody. So it's possible.
Games are always evolving. There's always new things to learn. How do you keep up with all of that and update your skills kind of every year?
Sure. That is the thing. The industry is always evolving. There's always new stuff that's coming out. It's definitely, it can be tough to keep on top of everything. And everyone's like, oh, well, check out this new game engine and this new thing and this new language. I mean, the reality is like, sure, some of it may be good. But there are also the tried and true things that a lot of the industry is using very widely. It can be good to sort of look into those alternatives in your free time. Like, oh, okay, well, that sounds interesting. I wonder what this engine or what this thing is doing, or maybe just do a little bit of research into it. because as new technologies are being developed, especially if you're working on an existing project, you may find something that just recently came out that say, okay, well maybe we should be using this in our current project, and maybe kind of retool how things are working. So it is good to be kind of kept abreast of that.
Before we end, we have some rapid fire questions. The first question is, what is your favorite color?
Let's go with black.
What is something that you are proud to say that you have accomplished?
Well, I'm very proud that I shipped the title. Shipping Skullgirls Mobile was like a huge accomplishment for me in my career, and it's been a wonderful thing to be able to do. It's kind of like, you can join on projects and things like that, but like to actually have shipped something, that's like, wow, that's something else.
What is some advice that you wish that you would have known when you were younger?
Let's see, advice I wish I would have known. You're doing great. Just keep going. Everything will work out. Things may be difficult, but just keep at it, and everything's gonna work out.
What is your favorite video game of all time?
All time. So many good options to choose from, but the one I always fall back on is Super Mario RPG: Legend of the Seven Stars. That kind of always holds a very special place in my heart.
The current video game that you are playing right now?
Current video game that I'm playing, I'm a little behind, but I'm currently playing Red Dead Redemption 2, and I'm absolutely loving it. It's a very beautiful game, and it's been a lot of fun.
Describe yourself as a teenager in 3 words.
Ambitious, driven, and let's say structured.
If you could have any superpower, what superpower would you have?
Ooh, I'd say teleportation.
If you could have 3 people dead or alive for dinner guests, who would it be?
3 people dead or alive for dinner guests. Oh boy. That's okay. Let's go with Bill Gates. Let's go with Barack Obama, because I think he'd be super fun. And let's go with Abraham Lincoln. Why not?
What does success for you mean right now?
Success for me means really just being content with what you're putting out in the world. Am I accomplishing what I'm setting out to do? Am I, with either with work or with personal projects or hobbies, things like that? Am I hitting those goals that I'm setting for myself?
What is a book that you have read recently or are currently reading that you would recommend?
Well, depending on which kind of path you're talking about, for those of you who want to become game developers or programmers, I would recommend this book here, Code Complete, the 2nd edition. Kind of goes over a lot of code construction workflows and just kind of like how you should be coding, and just really great tips and just ways of constructing code. So definitely check that out. But for fun, I really, really loved The Name of the Wind and Wise Man's Fear. Those are part of the King Killer Chronicles by Patrick Rothfuss. I cannot recommend those enough.
Thank you so much, Andrew. We learned a lot about you. Thank you for taking the time every day to talk with us. Can you let everyone at home know about any upcoming projects and where they can connect with you?
Yeah, the people can connect with me, my email. Hopefully you guys can provide a link for that. Yeah. But as far as upcoming projects, stay tuned for new things from Hidden Variable. We're gonna keep prototyping and hopefully come up with something new, and definitely look forward to more updates for Skullgirls Mobile. We just launched Annie, for those of you who are fans. But Annie's gonna be coming to Second Encore sometime next year. So definitely look forward to that.
Yay! Thank you so much.
Thank you
so much.
You.
Hi everyone, it's Desiree again.
And Melissa.
Did you enjoy this episode?
I'm sure you did.
Then please make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications for this channel.
Check out the teen content video playlist here and our latest Teen Gen episode here.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.